The first game between England and Ireland was played in 1875 at the Oval in London, and England won that one 7-0. What's going to happen this weekend at Twickenham when the teams meet once again this year in the Six Nations competition? Let's find out in this video. G'day everyone and welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. My name is Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Game 2 of this weekend's 2024 Six Nations competition, round number 4 between England and Ireland, going to be played at Twickenham in London. And what a game it's going to be, I'm sure. So let's start off. We're going to have a look at both teams and then I'm going to give you my prediction on how I think this game is going to go. And you might be surprised with what I think on this one. So let's get into it right now. Starting off with the visitors, and we'll go through the Irish team that's going to run out and start this game. So Andy Farrell has gone all guns a-blazing in his selection for this game against England, and why not? This Irish team is playing phenomenally well at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how this particular team does in the weekend. So let's start off looking at the Irish backline. And we've got that man back at fullback. Hugo Keenan had a bit of a strapping on his knee during training yesterday, and was wondering whether or not he was going to get selected, but he's back in the team, and as we all know, Hugo Keenan brings a lot of excitement to this Irish backline and just offers that consolidarity at the back as well when Ireland are in any defensive kind of position. Now onto the wings, and we've got James Lowe and Nash, of course, and both have been playing well throughout the Six Nations. I don't see any reason why to change that combination at all. They've both been going pretty well. And James Lowe, as I mentioned in every one of my videos, that clearing kick option that he has with his left foot is a real benefit to this Irish team when they're in defence. Moving on to the centres, and we've got Henshaw and Bundy Archie. And what a combination these two are, not just in attack but also in defence. They've been getting up quickly on all the opposition they've been playing against so far in this series, and a wonderful combination. Look for Archie to have a big game against England. I'm sure he'll be up for this one, especially at Twickenham. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Then inside him we've got Crawley, of course, improving, I think, each game as he's getting more and more consolidated into this Irish team. And expect him to have a good game at Twickenham. He's going to be under a lot of pressure with his home crowd, so it'll be interesting to see how his nerves hold when he's in any kicking positions in this particular game. Then at halfback it's Gibson Park, of course, so the Irish backline is very, very solid backline to start the game. A fantastic backline, probably one of the best backlines in World Rugby as it stands at the moment. Their combinations both in attack and defence are very, very good. Of course, that defence has been the thing that's been really putting the pressure on these other teams in the Six Nations so far. And so far, we haven't seen any team be able to get through this extensive and widespread Irish defence. So will England be able to do it this weekend? That's one of the questions we have for this particular game. Okay, looking at their substitutes in the backs, and we only have two this weekend for Ireland, and it's going to be Conor Murray and Frawley. And aptly capable, those two, in terms of coming on and doing their job in the second half, or of course covering for any injury that might happen before that. So an interesting split, 6-2 from Andy Farrell in this particular game. And I'll talk. Okay, so that's the backs. Now let's have a look at the Irish forwards that are going to start this game. And in the front row, we've got that dependable trio of Porter, Sheehan and Furlong, and they've been playing exceptionally well so far, I think, in the Six Nations competition. Porter from a defensive point of view and also from the set pieces, but Sheehan's been also very good in open play, scoring a couple of tries in this competition so far. And Furlong, well, he turns up every game, doesn't he? So a very good front three there for Ireland in this game. Moving on to the locks, and we've got McCarthy and Byrne, two of the best locks going around in World Rugby at the moment. Joe McCarthy, super impressed with the way that he's turning up in the Six Nations, and I think he's going to have another big game on Saturday against England. Moving into the back three, and it's the three that we would expect to start the game: O'Mahony, Van der Fleer and Doris, Caelan Doris. When does the guy never play a good game? He's always on point, and he's going to be enjoying the battle, I'm sure, this weekend against Ben Earl, the English number 8. And I think these back three for Ireland are going to hold the key to this game in a lot of different ways, because we're going to see a little bit of a different English combination, and I'll talk about that when we get onto their team. Now, looking at this Irish bench that's going to come on in the forwards in this game, I'm not sure whether there's a better bench in world rugby at the moment. I'm sure my South African friends might have something to say about that, but let's look at the Irish substitutes in the forwards that are going to come on this game, and we've got Kelleher, Healy, Bealham, Henderson, Baird and Conan. No room for Jaeger, unfortunately, this week for Ireland, but those boys that are going to come on are going to bring both power, speed and agility, and I think that's one thing that Andy Farrell's looking more from his forwards as this team keeps evolving and developing. The agility to get able to get around the field, put pressure on their opposition, particularly at the breakdown time, is going to be vital when these reserve forwards come on, and I think that's where Ireland is going to have the edge in this game. So there we go, that's the Irish team to start and the reserves for this game. A pretty strong team indeed. Let me know if you think there's any flaws in that team or someone that might have missed out that you thought might get a particular go. Let me know in the comments on that one. Okay, let's look at the home side selection for this game and what Steve Borthwick done. Well, he's listened to me, of course, and made a couple of selections that I would have had in the team last weekend. But let's start off with the English forwards and have a look at them. Okay, starting off with the front row, and we've got Genge, George and Cole. Are these guys going to be able to take it to that front row of Ireland? My gut feeling is no. I think the Irish front row is going to have it over this English front row, but hey, I've been wrong on a million occasions, so why not again this weekend? But my gut tells me that the Irish front row is going to have it over these three English front row, but let's see how they go. Then going on to the locks for England, and we have Itoje and we have Martin starting this week, and I mentioned in my video last week that Martin played so well when he came on for that 38 minutes or so in the last game against Scotland that I think he deserved a start, and he's getting it this weekend. So well done, Steve Borthwick. Listen to me on this one. And Martin gets a start. Now that means Ollie Chisholm's going to be into the flanker role this weekend, which is an interesting selection, I think. So Chisholm goes on to one flank, Underhill on the other flank, and then of course we have Ben Earl at the back. I don't think Ben Earl's been played at the top of his game so far in the Six Nations. Let's hope he brings it out this weekend. He's going to have to if England are going to have any chance against this Irish team. So there we go, that's the English forwards to start the game. Now let's have a look at their reserve forwards that are going to come on during the game. Now, as I've said in previous videos for this round, we're getting to a stage now where the coaches are getting their benches pretty much settled for the Six Nations, and that's the case again with England. So having a look at their reserve forwards, Dan, Stewart, Marler, Cunningham South and Dom Brunt are going to come on for them. So very good forward reserves, but I don't think they're as good as what the Irish are going to bring on their side of the field. And I think this is going to be one of the areas where Ireland are going to have the superiority over England in this particular game. So there we go, that's the forwards and the substitutes for England. Let's have a look at their backs and see who's going to be starting their game. And another surprise at fullback, and we've got Furbank in again this weekend for Freddie Stewart. And it seems as though Borthwick is going to stay with his selection and give Furbank a bit of an opportunity. And why not, if he's not making any mistakes? But I still would have liked to seen Freddie Stewart in there if he's fit to be able to give this backline a little bit of height. And he's very, very good under the high ball, and I think that might be a strategy that Ireland deploys this weekend against Furbank and really give him a bit of a hard time at the back there. But we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. Now on the wings for England, we have Faye, Wabasso, and boy, did he play fantastically when he came on in their last game. But unfortunately, he only came on in the last 15 minutes, and I was one of those ones crying out to say, give this guy a start. He's a game changer. He can change a game from anywhere on the field, and it's great that England have gone with him in this particular game. The challenge now is to get enough ball and to give it to him in space so that he can make a difference. On the other wing, we've got Freeman, who's been playing really well throughout the Six Nations competition. He deserves his spot there as well. So this means Elliot Daly will drop back to the bench for England on this game. And boy, what a player to be bringing on Elliot Daly off the bench. Back three that Steve Walker had decided to go with for this game. Now moving into the centres, we've got Henry Slade at outside centre and Ollie Lawrence at inside centre. Again, these guys need more games together to really show their combination, so Borthwick is giving them another opportunity this week, and we'll have to wait and see how they go. They're going to be instrumental in trying to get through this Irish defence, which no other team, as I said, has been able to do that on a regular basis so far in this Six Nations competition. So let me know whether you think Lawrence and Slade are the answers for England when it comes to trying to penetrate this Irish defence. And then inside we've got George Ford, Mr. Reliable, starting off. Interesting that Marcus Smith is available for selection, or was available for selection this weekend. And Borthwick's gone with that conservative, steady approach with George Ford. Probably a good move to start the game because he's got Smith on the bench. And we can see how the game starts off. But if points are going to be needed and penalties are on offering, then George Ford is your man. There's no doubt about it. And I think England will be looking to put points on the scoreboard as early as they can in this game, and that's going to be very vital. So I think George Ford is a good selection for that post process. Then at halfback, Alex Mitchell's back after his injury, and that means Danny Kerr has gone on to the bench for England in the backs. So a good back line for England. Are they as good as Ireland? The simple answer for me is no, they're not. Ireland's got too many game changers in the back line. With Hugo Keenan back in there this week, that brings another level again. And I think they're going to give this England defence a bit of a hard time. But we've been seeing a better defensive line from England in the last couple of games. They'll need to bring it on Saturday if they're going to have any chance against Ireland. So that means we need to have a look at the reserve backs for England in this game. We've got Danny Kerr coming on in the halfback position, and as I've said in a number of my videos, I like Danny Kerr and the energy that he brings off the bench. I think it's always a positive for England. He always seems to go pretty well as he comes on off the bench. We've got Marcus Smith back in action as well. It's going to be very interesting to see when Steve Borthwick injects him into the game, and then what result that actually brings by having Marcus Smith back. A lot of people out there still are not rating Marcus Smith too much in terms of being a game changer for England. We'll have to see how he goes this weekend. And then the last one is Elliot Daly, as I mentioned, so he's dropped down to the bench, and it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to this team. And I'm sure that with Freeman and Fa'i Wabasso, we're going to get a lot of running for England if they're able to get sufficient ball to get out to those two players. So an interesting team from England, and probably their best squad that I've seen so far in this year's competition. Let me know what you think of this selection from Steve Borthwick for this particular game. So what is my prediction for this game between England and Ireland being played at Twickenham on Saturday? Well, first of all, the last 4 games have gone to the way of Ireland. They've been dominant over England, and since 2020 was the last time England beat Ireland, and I think we're going to see pretty much similar stuff this weekend. I think this Irish team is playing at another level compared to what England are, and the only thing that's going to help England is if they get off to a good start, they get some points on the board, and they're able to find a way through this Irish defence. And I think that's going to be a telling point in this game, because this Irish defence has been absolutely super throughout the Six Nations competition. On top of that, when they do get the ball and they're going forward, they look very dynamic, they look very quick and agile. And with players like Bundy Arki, and then outside him we've seen James Lowe doing some great things off the wing so far, as well as Henshaw. Right across the back line for Ireland, they've got potential weapons that can score points and keep the scoreboard ticking over and putting the pressure on the opposition. And that's before we even get to the forwards, and we're talking about the back 3 dominance of Omani van der Fleer and Caelan Doris. Are we going to see that again this weekend? I suspect we are, and that's going to set up the platform that Ireland are going to need to be able to suffocate this English team. And I think that's what's going to happen on Saturday. We're going to see this Irish dominance through the forwards, and then the injection of the backs absolutely suffocate this English defence, and they're going to have to make a lot of tackles. I see them getting very tired very quickly, and I see them making the odd mistake in defence, and that's when Ireland are going to make you pay for it when those opportunities open up. As a result of that, I think England's attack is going to be under pressure because the Irish defence is going to be up quickly on them, and they're going to struggle to find ways through. So don't be surprised if we see a bit of kicking from George forward just to give England some territory in this game. I think it's going to be a bad move, because as soon as Ireland have got ball in hand, they're going to be extremely dangerous. So the kicking game from England has to be on point, and a couple of 50-22s would really help them out in this game. But if their general kicking in play doesn't work out for them, then Ireland are going to punish them. So look at that as being a point of differentiation in this particular game. I think Ireland are going to have too much for England across the park. Ireland have been scoring 30 points in all of their games so far. I suspect that is going to continue in this game. And can I see England scoring 30 points against this Irish team? No, I can't. I can see England scoring perhaps 12 or 14 points maximum in this particular game. So there you go. My point of difference is going to be the Irish offence and defensive strategies, and I think they're going to win by at least 15 points in this game. I think it's going to be another comprehensive win by Ireland, and I think it's going to show us once again that England are not quite there yet when it comes to this Six Nations competition. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope it's a lot closer than that. I hope for everybody that's in attendance this weekend that it's a spectacular game at Twickenham, and we'll just have to wait and see. So there we go. That's my prediction for the game this weekend between England and Ireland. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments. I read all of them, and I'd be really interesting to see what you think as well. Looking at my community page poll at the moment of this game, there's a lot of you that think Ireland are going to win comfortably, and in fact the majority, more than the majority of you, think that Ireland are going to bring this one home. So let me know what you think in the comments, and in particular about the selections. Interested to know if you think there's anybody from either team that are unlucky not to be selected for this particular game. Okay, that's it for me for this video. I'm going to be back with reviews of all the games this weekend, so stay tuned to Inside Rugby with Mark. Best way to do that is to smash that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out a lot. And if you give this video a thumbs up as well, I'd be very, very grateful for that. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back again soon. Until then, stay well, stay safe, enjoy your rugby this weekend. And it's time to say adios from beautiful Mexico. Until next time, bye for now.